there are different kinds of force that officers can use.
Yes.
And have you ever, in all the years you've been working for the Minneapolis Police Department, been trained to kneel on the neck of someone who is handcuffed behind their back in a prone position?
No, I haven't.
Hey there, Mr. Chauvin, that's your ass.
Absolutely.
What level of force might that be?
That would be the top tier, the deadlift force.
Why?
Because of the fact that if your knee is on a person's neck, that can kill him.
Hey there, Mr. Chauvin, that's your ass.
Over the years, have you received training on
That's your ass.
Yes.
including the use of handcuffs?
Yes.
And when you are handcuffing somebody, when you handcuff them, what is your responsibility as an officer with regard to that person?
Well, could I give you an example?
If you, as an officer, according to training, you handcuff somebody behind the back, what's your responsibility with regard to that person from that moment on?
That person is yours. He's your responsibility. His safety is your responsibility. His well-being and it's your responsibility.
Once you handcuff somebody,
Hey there, Mr. Chauvin, that's your ass. Yeah, that's your ass. Your ass is grass. That's your ass. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Resistance. About to go over this body cam review of the young lady, Brittany Williams from Jacksonville, Florida. Let's get into it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. OG Perfect Sense, Mike Ramirez, Lake Speed. Appreciate y'all hanging out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we got the young lady, Brittany Williams from Jacksonville, Florida. She had a situation. Got the body cam footage. We're going to go through that. I'm going to warn y'all right now, it's intense. So, hey, just brace yourselves. But first, I'm going to give you a video. This is the video that was recorded on March 26th, a couple of days ago. And then she's basically explaining what happened that day when she was rushed by the police. Let's check it out.
Been going through a lot. And for those of you who don't know, long story short, last year, well, it's almost been like a year later, it happened right before George Floyd. JSO police parked in my driveway for no reason at all. And then when I came outside to ask how I could help, the officer just started tripping on me. And I couldn't believe what was happening. I was real afraid and stuff, especially after Breonna Taylor had just happened and everything. So I called 911. And the backup that I called ended up beating me down, like in my house, for no reason at all. They wouldn't tell me what was going on. They broke my teeth, y'all. They damaged my nerves, all this stuff. And it's just real bad. They searched my house without a warrant. They put me in jail. I've been in jail before. So I just been like really freaking out because now it's just a big thing that I'm fighting and it's just been really hard. And I was told to like delete all my social media accounts and not say anything to anybody. And so that's why I haven't really been speaking out. But that's not helping me and that's not making me feel good. So I'm going to start speaking out because I just don't feel right about that. And I don't believe in that. And that's not the type of person that I am. Like, I don't play, especially when I'm disrespected and I don't deserve it, you know? So I'm going to speak out more and I'm going to just start doing what I need to do because this is serious, and I just still can't believe it's happening. So I want to update everybody on what's been going on, like in court and stuff. The police and the prosecutors and the other officials are upset with me because I've been exposing them. When I put out my body cam video, they got real mad. So they're coming at me like as hard as they can, and they're harassing me. The police are outside of my door, outside of my house all the time. At night, they're always there. They have their lights and stuff on, and they're just trying to just intimidate me and silence me. And they're refusing to drop the charges, and they're just coming in with everything they got. They're trying to say I'm mentally ill.
So after all this has happened, and I don't know how many of y'all seen the body cam footage, but trust me, it was intense. And after all this has happened, she just mentioned that she's receiving harassment. Almost a year later, police is still in front of her. Police are coming in front of her house, turning their lights on, just making their presence known, which is simple harassment after what she went through. I'm surprised she's not in front of her house every day recording these police officers and going live.
And they were trying to make me go to mental health court and take a plea deal and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, how can I say I'm mentally ill when I'm not mentally ill? Like, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. And I would have to do like a 3-year program or something crazy. And I would have to pay for it.
All right, so I just wanted to get y'all a quick introduction to this young lady, Brittany Williams from Jacksonville, Florida. We can come back to this and hear what she has to say after we witness the body cam footage. So that's her name. Brittany also has a YouTube channel. She's an artist. She's a musical artist. I'm gonna play one of her videos. Of course, I'm not gonna play the sound because it's not my music. But this is her, one of her videos right here. So she has talent, she has something to offer to the music community, as you can see. And y'all can go over there to her channel and check her out. This is her channel, Brittany Krishan. I believe her full name is Brittany Krishan Williams, Krishan being the middle name. And this video right here is called Shut Up. So let's get into the body cam footage. And this is an hour and a half worth of footage from about 3 or 4 different angles. So we're going to check it out.
Hey, sir, how you doing? So I'm backed up in here to just read while this little traffic is, and everything is backed up over here because this Virgin. And so she walks up and she's like, "Can I help you?" I was like, "No." I'm sitting here, she's 10, 15. So she comes out talks to me, she's a bit super throwing at it. She do that in my car window. So she,
do you mind coming out here and talking to me? Okay, well, the supervisor will be here in just a second. You can talk to him. You own this property? I don't see him.
One of the things that was mentioned about this body cam footage that there's a lot of pausing in between, and there's a lot of sound that's redacted from the body cam footage. So just to give y'all a heads up on that.
Unit 134 for Friday 1, investigation will call a gun on officer. She's approaching the curb 94, but told her she's going to play away.
She said, girl, through whatever she has on her face on the screen.
What's she doing? What did she do? Stop, please, man. It's my girl, man.
You're going to jail too.
What did I do? What did I do?
Right now, interfering.
Well, come on, man. This is my girl.
Fight.
Look, this was your girl, man.
Well, my girl wouldn't act like this.
I mean, come on, man. Please, man. Don't do this, man. Please, man. What are
She's got a gun and she's threatening to shoot us.
Come on.
You kidding me?
I understand that. But why is he here? Why were you here?
Just reading emails. Hey, there's a zero.
But I understand that, but why?
Just reading emails.
But why does it have to be in our
And
yard?
your girlfriend threw whatever she had on a spoon on her face at me in the car.
Okay,
So we waited for other officers to get
I
here
understand.
for her to go to jail. And now she's got a gun on the floor.
Stand by the trash can, Bob. Okay, I will.
I was sitting here reading emails, bro.
I understand.
Reading emails, minding my own business. And she came up to me and decided to throw whatever she was doing on her face on me.
I understand. It's just honey, though.
It's what? I don't know what it is, bro. Do I throw anything on you?
No, I'm just saying.
Would it be cool if I just walked up to your car and just threw some stuff on you? She did.
Okay, I'm trying to stop her. Maybe you should have took the gun from her. Bitch, kick me.
I know it.
He said, "Bitch, kick me." Did y'all pay attention to that? He said, "Bitch, kick me."
Bitch, kick me.
I know it.
Stop her. Maybe you should have took the gun from her. Bitch, kick me.
I know it. Scared, brother. I wasn't doing anything. I was sitting here reading emails. She came up to my car and started throwing and threatening me.
Charlie 69 is the subject. 1015.
10-4 she is.
Okay.
Brother, this is a public access driveway. It is not illegal for someone to stop here. It's not.
So he just said that that driveway that his vehicle is parked at, that's in front of their home, is public access. Meaning anybody can pull up in that driveway and park up and do what they want. I don't think so.
While I was talking to her, telling her I was just my email, she chucked this at me. I have no idea what it is. That's called a battery on a law enforcement officer. That's a felony. Back over in here.
That's why she wanted to go back to the house. That's why I just landed this rap.
This one, because I thought I was protocol said she was going to shoot the officers and continue to walk.
Yeah. And I didn't even approach the house. I just came out of the car to put that in a plastic bag.
Go get a look at her.
Where's?
Do you have an ID or anything for her? License, ID? That's fine. Okay, we'll just talk with her then.
We'll just it'll just prolong it. She's going to jail regardless. You're lucky you're not going to jail too for assisting her and doing what she just did.
You don't understand.
And no, you don't know. And if you don't want to, if you continue to not want to help us, then we'll just put all that down too.
I don't want to go in the house.
Get out your house.
Well, it's the zeros on the floor. Oh, you got it?
That's the house.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go by the door.
Well, come on, mother. We'll go in there with you. Brother, this has all been recorded the entire time. Nothing is going to happen to you. You weren't just scared of your girlfriend with a gun in there, ready to shoot the police?
Scared both ways. I'm scared.
Brother, I was reading emails. Your girlfriend brought the gun.
Sir, I don't know what you're doing. I'm sorry. I'm just please. Sir, I don't know what
Sir? Yeah, we're going to need it, I guess. I'm still out.
Another word of another officer who said you threw something at him.
Another officer was here.
Here. Here.
You threw something at him.
Here, look, when you check. Hey,
A door.
hey, you see this?
The gun was on the ground because I got up there.
So, this was all backed up over here. So I backed into the driveway right here and started reading emails. So she comes out of the house, knocks on my window. It says, "Sir, come on." Why not? I'm out of the roadway. And there's no other cars here. I'm not blocking anybody. I'm hanging tight. I explained to her that I was driving. She's like, "You don't need to be here. Get off my property." I said, "Ma'am, I'm almost done. I'm just checking emails." And so then she's like, "Get off my property," and throws some spoon or something that she was putting on her face on there. And that's when I was like, fine. You know, I saw that she was calling. Was waiting for other officers to get here to attempt to detain her for freaking gun at me.
So I walk up to her, she runs up, she slaps her in the face of the door. Pushes the door open and starts kicking me.
Has a gun. Has a gun.
Here. Naturally, a gun falls on the ground from God knows where. So we take her into custody.
So, if those of you who haven't been paying attention, the woman had a gun on her. So that's going to pop up a little bit more when we see more angles of the body cam footage. But she did have a gun on her. In all the reports, it wasn't mentioned that it was illegal. They are in Florida. She's allowed to have a gun on her. She's allowed to protect herself on her property. She did mention some things in the body cam footage to the dispatcher that I wouldn't necessarily agree that she should have done. I believe it was a hard lesson that she learned, but then again, she still didn't commit a crime. The police officers acted as if they were being challenged violently by this woman, and she wasn't. As you can see so far, they were the violent ones. They were the ones who charged her.
you read the call log, it says she's going to shoot the officer if he continues to approach her.
This guy was sitting right here the whole time.
And if you listen to what he just said, he said if you read the call log, it says that if she continues on, here we go.
For other officers to get here to attempt to team her for freaking throwing at me.
So I walk up to her, she runs from me, she slaps me facing the door, pushes the door open, and starts kicking me.
Has a gun. Has a gun.
Here. Naturally, a gun falls on the ground from God knows where, so we take her to custody.
If you read the call log, it says she's going to shoot the officer if he continues to approach her.
This guy was.
If you read the call log, it says she's going to shoot the officer if he continues to approach her. That's not correct at all. That's their narrative right there.
Sitting right here the whole time.
Yeah.
All these people were across the street the whole time. Yeah.
Shout outs to Aaron Drive.
No, we just call over here at 21st and Liberty.
Oh, okay.
So I circled back around just to make sure the guys had actually left over here that we just dealt with. So all this traffic was backed up because of this stuff on MLK.
Yeah.
So I just pulled in here to. No, I just backed in here to look at some emails. Yeah. Yeah.
And as you can see, they redacting sound again.
So then I'm sitting there, I had the window down talking to her. Now that was for kicking. That's the market.
What happens if you don't come sit next to that?
Lord have mercy.
I'm not going to tell another officer to do anything.
All right, here we go. Second angle body cam footage. Pay close attention.
I don't need you yelling up, so I'm standing here. So I'm just here trying to have a conversation.
A conversation about what?
I came because you called the police saying that you just got battered.
I called you guys so he can see.
Okay, well, I got a supervisor right here.
You tell these people something that was
Yeah, you called in reference to an officer.
and then he's sitting there smiling because he be over there with your shirt. Why are you
Yes.
here?
Okay.
Why are you smirking?
Look at the force. Check the force out. So if y'all heard in the beginning of her video that I played, she said not only did she suffer from chipped teeth, broken teeth, but she also suffered from nerve damage. So this officer who's on this body cam footage right in front with this black uniform on, when I show his body cam footage, you're going to see why she has nerve damage.
Ma'am, stop resisting.
I'm not resisting.
You're threatening a gun.
Give her up.
I mean, come
Now you're
on.
going to jail.
You're just mad because I'm a black girl.
No, because you battered the law enforcement officer.
Damn it. I can't.
Yeah, you can't. Officer Patchett. That's my name. Yeah, you kicked me. Officer Patchett. That's my name. In. Get it? In. Kick somebody else again.
I always encourage hollering and screaming all the time. I always encourage that, but 9 times out of 10, it's not going to do shit.
Huh? She kicked me while I was inside. Go somewhere. Unless you want to be a witness to it.
You got a seatbelt, right?
Yeah, bitch kicked me in the leg.
Oh,
Huh. Bitch kicked me.
I was sitting here reading emails.
7:36.
10:15.
Through whatever she has on her face, on the street.
Get up, look!
I have no idea what it is. That's called a battery on a law enforcement officer. That's a felony.
7:36.
10:15.
Well, this is a public access driveway. It is not a stop here. It's not. Telling her I was just like this. I have no idea what it is. That's called a battery on a law enforcement officer. That's a felony.
Shout outs to Wake Up America. How you doing? All right, third angle of body cam footage coming up, ladies and gentlemen. I believe this is the one where you can see the officer applying the nerve damage. Wait for Sam.
Whatever she has on her face, on the street.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This is not the angle where you can see the officer apply the nerve damage, but it's coming up now.
What did I do? What am I doing? Well, come on, man. This is my girl. Come on. This was your girl, man. I mean, come on. Oh, man, please, man. Don't do this, man. Please, man.
She got a gun and just ready to shoot us?
Come on. Kidding me? I understand that, but why is he here? Why are you here?
Just reading the notes. Hey, this is zero.
Well, I understand that, but why?
Just reading emails.
But why does it have to be in our
Hey,
yard?
your girl. Whatever she has on her face, have me in the car.
Okay.
We made it for other officers to get
I
here
understand.
for her to go to jail. And now she's got a gun on the floor. Stand by the trash can, boss.
Yeah, she had a gun, and then good evening.
And check this out. Look how they, portray how this woman was acting a few minutes before. Look how they spread the propaganda around at that moment to the neighbors. They sure love mentioning the part that she had a gun, but never one time did she brandish the gun or anything. Now, the gun did pop out, but it popped out when they was rushing her. Okay.
I've had better days, man. Hey, so have you been out here for a hot minute? Just a few minutes. Did you see the young lady throw that object at the officer while he was sitting there in his car? Okay. All right. So apparently she threw something at him while he was sitting in his car reading his emails. Okay, and then went inside and called 911 saying she was going to kill the police if they came near. So just to let you know, you got to be careful. You got a pretty unstable neighbor. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So she's going to go to jail today, though, because she did kick me when I went to take her into custody, and then her gun fell out. Yeah, she had a gun, and then she threw that spoon with something on it at the other officers. So just be careful when you interact with her. She's a little unstable. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's it. I'm looking for the dispatch call now. But listen, they're having a conversation with her right now, and they've redacted the same.
During questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you at no cost before any questioning begins. If you decide to answer any questions now, you have the right to stop at any time and consult with an attorney. Do you have any questions about what I just read you? No, that's not how it works. So, do you have any questions about what I just read you? That was your question? Okay. So, why don't you tell me about what happened today? Huh? You don't want to talk to me? Okay. She wants to be seen arrested. No. Yep. All right.
Parked in her driveway, and she wanted to know why.
He just immediately started to just yell at me and tell me things like, I can be here if I want to, and just, this is a public lot, and things like that. That was just absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, I'm going to call for backup, and when I told him that, I was like, I'm going to call 911 to report you. He laughed at me, and he was like, they're just going to call me anyway.
According to the arrest report, before Williams called JSO, the officer told her he backed into the driveway because he thought it was a vacant property and was just checking emails while traffic was backed up. The report goes on to say Williams told the officer to leave and then threw a spoon with an unknown green substance at him while he was sitting in the car. When 4 more officers arrived. Why is he here?
Why are you here? And why are y'all smirking?
No, stop. Stop. Please, man, that's my girl. Please,
You're just mad because I'm a black girl?
No, because you tried to go home first, officer.
I can't you.
Get in. Kick somebody else again.
Arrested and charged with battery and assault on an officer and resisting arrest.
She kicked me when I was inside. Go somewhere. unless you want to be a witness to it.
The arrest report states while Williams was taken into custody, a semi-automatic pistol fell off her person and onto the floor.
I have a right to protect myself and have a weapon inside of my house. That was just a reason and an excuse for them to attack me. I also had, until recently because of this situation, a concealed weapons license. If I wanted to even carry it, I legally can do that.
Williams did let the officers know she had a gun before being taken into custody, according to the report.
They broke my teeth on the floor right there in front of the stairwell.
There you go. That's what they did. That's their work right there. Damn shame.
Looking at the video, there's a lot of empty space.
Alex Picaro is a criminologist and a professor at the University of Miami. Did you see excessive force?
I saw a lot of force, yeah.
News4Jack's climate safety expert, Ken Jefferson, a retired JSO officer with more than 24 years on the force, disagrees.
In this case,
listen to this dude.
Excessive force being done. They were trying to restrain her.
Do you think police acted in line with department protocol?
I can say that they did some things that were in line and some things that were probably a little too much.
They acted in line with department protocol as far as executing the arrest. They did not act in line with the protocol of just leaving that area when asked to do so.
Altercations actually get worse as they go along. If we get get better, and that's what we saw here.
What's the obligation from the department after seeing this video?
I have always recommended to police chiefs and police departments to be in front of the story and to be as open and honest as you can in every step of the way.
This is all backed up over here.
Here's some of the conversation between the officers captured on police body camera video the day of the incident.
What? I'm out of the roadway.
Just be sure when you write there that there's no really.
Just be sure when you write your narrative, there's no real example.
I did not activate that point immediately because I was unanticipated citizen reaction. I pulled over here real quick. I was unanticipated citizen reaction.
I did not activate my camera immediately because I was not anticipating the citizens' reaction. So this is the reason why we don't see the supposedly green glob being thrown on him. If it was even thrown on him. The green glob that was on a spoon.
I did not activate my camera immediately because I was unanticipated citizen reaction. I pulled over here real quick.
Williams says she was brought to this empty lot just yards away from her home. She says they were here for a period of time before they brought her to jail.
There's nothing illegal with that. The question is, was that appropriate?
Do you think race plays a factor in this case?
I don't know. Again, I don't know the mindset of the officer. It just did not have to go this far. Would an officer go to another type of neighborhood and sit in someone's driveway without permission? I can tell you the answer to that. And the answer is more than likely no.
JSO declined to comment as this is an active criminal investigation. We put in a request for the 911 call and the files on the 5 male officers involved in this case. We should mention Williams does not have a criminal record. She faces up to 10 years in.
It says she faces up to 10 years in prison.
Prison for battery and assault on an officer, and is in prison for battery and assault on an officer. Then Williams does not have a criminal record. She faces up to 10 years in prison for battery and assault on an officer and resisting arrest. Her attorneys say they believe after the state attorney's office reviews the evidence in the case, they will drop all charges against her.
Nuisance.
chip, but they're not bleeding. You can see a dentist, but the ER is not going to do anything for you.
He redacted the sound.
You gotta go to, I don't get this thing for paying up. Go down. Get an appointment.
She can't talk to her right now.
She gonna talk to you.
Oh, I'll talk to her in a minute. I just need to talk to you first.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so what's is she diagnosed with anything? Schizophrenic, bipolar?
She do have mental problems, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
shit.
So what's the reason for her having a gun?
That's a dude right there. He said she do has mental problems. This is why you never speak to the police.
Today, and threatening.
She just saw the cop in front and she was terrified because, you know.
Why would she be terrified of police officers sitting there?
Well, sir, because a lot of things that's going on with cops killing people, things like that, and so she has that in the back of her mind, and she already just off the wire.
So she saw a police officer.
I'm gonna pause this here real quick and show y'all this.
Between an officer who parked his car in a woman's driveway and that woman who demanded that he move. Now, that woman who alleges police brutality released a heavily edited version of that police video of that incident, which ended with her teeth broken, and she was charged with battery on an officer. Today, On Your Side's Troy Kless had his hands on the full video and a key phone call to 911.
Thank you, Jeannie. This 911 call adds an element that cannot be seen in Brittany Williams' socially viral video. On the call, you can hear her telling the 911 dispatcher that she had a gun and indicated she might pull it on an officer. Now, one quick note about the video that you're about to see. The state attorney's office version does not show the arrest because it occurred within Williams' home. Bodycam video policy says that people's homes are private. Williams' attorneys provided a version of the video that does show the arrest and what they believe is excessive force. The takedown was physical and intense, but was it appropriate?
You just mad because I'm a black girl?
No, you're a law enforcement officer.
Brittany Williams says officers used excessive force.
Officer Patchett. That's my name.
Williams' front teeth were broken when she was taken into custody. Police say the incident began when Williams threw a spoon with an unknown substance at an officer who was parked in her driveway checking emails.
Shout outs otherwise to see, not too much.
Placing her under arrest for battery on a law enforcement officer. Police say she resisted.
See it? Kicked me in the leg. Kicked me. At no point in time did we ever punch, hit, strike, bite, nothing of her. She then kicked and attacked me while trying to take her into custody. She kicked me here and she kicked me here.
As for her teeth,
she did that herself.
How?
When she went to the ground or when she slapped her face on the door.
How's she gonna slap my face on the door?
Because she ran into the door trying to run away from me.
Williams' attorney Jeff Chikula says the officers used unjustifiable force.
I have so many health positions a criminal by no means. Have police officers treat her this way.
But the police report says Williams had a gun and threatened to use it against officers. The 911 call exclusively obtained by First Coast News.
Here y'all go. Pay attention. So they keep saying that she was pretty much mentioning that she had a gun, and they're mentioning the fact that because she said she had a gun is the reason why they had to use the force that they used. But she never said that she was going to use a gun towards them violently for any reason other than if they keep walking towards her on her property. And as far as I'm concerned, in Florida, that's the law. Jacksonville, Florida. Although I don't agree with what she said, especially if she wasn't ready for that heat. But pay attention to what she said to dispatch. And if I pull my gun on him and he shoot me and kill me, then what am I to do? That was something that was not necessary, and she shouldn't have said that. I'm just saying.
Ma'am, don't do that. But to keep this situation diffused, just put the gun up for me, okay?
The dispatch told her just to keep the situation diffused, put the gun up. Williams said, "I will."
According to the officers, the gun was on the floor during the tape down.
You see the gun right beside the door?
That moment is not visible, however, because the second officer's body camera fell off. Officers on scene said despite the damage to Williams' teeth, she was lucky it wasn't worse.
When I went up here to talk to her and to put her in handcuffs for the battery, she then kicked and attacked me.
I think it's a bad day for her, but I'm just telling you right now, it could have been a lot more dangerous for her. If she's threatening the police with a gun,
that's what I'm upset about. Like, I know.
That could have been.
That's what I wanted to show y'all, the dispatch call.
He said he was just reading emails, and that gave her the mindset of, she can't talk to her right now.
She want to talk to you.
Oh, I'll talk to her in a minute. I just need to talk to you first.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so is she diagnosed with anything? Schizophrenic, bipolar?
She do have mental problems, yes.
Okay. So what was
Shout outs to Renetta Williams. Have a good night.
the reason for her having a gun today and threatening?
She just saw the cop in front and she was terrified because, you know.
Why would she be terrified of a police officer sitting there?
Well, sir, because a lot of things that's going on with cops killing people, things like that, and so she has that in the back of her mind, and she already was just off the wire.
So she saw a police officer sitting here. She talked to him. He said he was just reading emails, and that gave her the mindset of,
well, no,
I'm terrified. I need to throw something at him and go get a gun.
No, sir. No, sir. What actually happened was they had some type of argument. He got very loud with her. I don't know what he said, but I heard him yelling at her.
Right. He just speaks loud normally. He's just a loud person.
Okay, I understand that. Well, I was inside.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what I heard.
I appreciate that. Okay.
So, I was inside and I heard him yelling from outside.
Okay.
She felt. Mom, you on speakerphone right now.
I'll talk to her.
She's very sick. She already. And so I'm trying to tell you that the fact that he was there triggered something within her mentally, and she was terrified.
He didn't. What I'm trying to get at is, he didn't make make any moves towards her. He didn't get out. He didn't threaten her in any way. What gave her the idea to go get a gun?
I'm telling you, when he started yelling at her, that's
okay. So where did she have the gun? Because I heard it fall. Did she have it in her waistline?
No, it was on the ground.
She just left it on the ground already?
It was on the ground, and when y'all
went inside,
that's when the door hit it.
Oh, so it was behind the door.
Right.
How did she put the gun behind the door like that?
What do you mean?
If the door opened and pushed the gun would have went that way. The gun was over here.
Well, trust me, everything that happened right there, I can't really remember all the details like that. It was just, you know.
So again, why would she want to get a gun and threaten to harm a police officer versus just sitting in her driveway?
Well, this is what happened.
Because she said, I'm gonna tell you, she said it on the recorded line.
Right. So that's what I was
already recorded.
That's
when I called the police.
He doing too much talking, and the cop just loving it. He's just fishing.
This is what I'm saying. She was on the recorded line, calling the recorded line on purpose, letting them know I feel very fearful for my life. I feel very threatened. The cop was here. I didn't do anything to him, and he started yelling at me. And so I'm feeling very fearful, and that's why. That's
so that fear made her get a gun and threaten to shoot a police officer if he came near her?
Well, yeah, that fear caused her to call.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was you know, it was a
why did she fear the police so much?
Well, like I said before, sir, with everything that's going on.
What's going on?
A lot of police are killing like black people.
So according to the FBI's statistics, we actually shoot more Hispanics and white people than we shoot anybody.
That makes sense, but we
it doesn't make sense because those are the facts, and you're saying the news is saying something else.
I understand. So this is what all I'm saying. When we watch social media,
right?
And on social media, they just show.
So you believe everything you see on social media and all that?
I don't want to, but
you do.
The media is very influential. The media is very influential.
Okay. All right. So I appreciate.
Look, mom on the other line saying, "Don't say a motherfucking word. Shut the fuck up." Listen to her.
So, according to the FBI's statistics, we actually shoot more Hispanics and white people than we shoot anybody.
That makes sense, but
it doesn't make sense because those are the facts, and you're saying the news is saying something else.
I understand. So this is what all I'm saying. When we watch social media,
right?
And on social media, they just show.
So you believe everything you see on social media and all that?
I don't want to, but
you do.
The media is very influential. The media is very influential.
Listen to her. She's telling him to shut the fuck up.
Okay. All right. So I appreciate you talking with me. Okay. She is going to go to jail today for 2 counts of battery on a law enforcement officer. Do that object with unknown substance on it and hit that officer. Okay. And then when I went to make contact with her, she kicked me, punched me, scratched me during this altercation. So when she did kick me, that'll be the battery on law enforcement again. The fighting and scratching and all that, that'll just be resisting violence. So that'll just be a misdemeanor.
So what kind of?
She's gonna have 2.
Yes. Okay. She said she an ex-judge, ex-police officer. What you say, ma'am? I want you on speakerphone. We made the call. Brittany made the call. Yeah, it was one officer that was already out here. Brittany got scared, called the police, and then 4 other officers came out here.
No, there's 3 other officers and a supervisor.
Okay, 3 other officers and a supervisor.
That's not an excuse. Not whatsoever. Yeah, we're not gonna play the race card over the phone there, sweetheart. I don't care what if she was in fear of an ant walking up her driveway. That doesn't matter. She's going to jail today for attacking 2 police officers.
But see, they attacked her first. Okay, they heard about the gun. They jumped the gun, and then they jumped on her. Yes, she did mention a gun to dispatch, and dispatch had every right to let those officers know that there was a gun on scene. But the simple fact that she made that mention that she shouldn't have made. So there's no blame game going on as far as the dispatch going back saying, "Oh, she got a gun." She did once it was mentioned. She had to go back and relay that to those officers. But the problem is that gun was never brandished. She never acted violent towards them with that gun. They jumped the gun when they heard over the radio that she had a gun. And that's where the problem comes in that. Unnecessary use of force, in my opinion. Because they were never threatened with a gun. It's there, she's allowed to have a gun. So what they hear, that she has a gun. She's standing right there with shorts that's, I don't know how many inches above her knees, and a small shirt on, which clearly shows that she's not presenting any danger towards those police officers. So that's bullshit.
I'm done. I don't like talking to people over the phone. Unless they want to come here. I don't talk to people over the phone. If we have any more questions, we'll come ask you. We may just need your name and information just in reference to why we were here. You'll just be as a witness to the incident that happened. You have a great day.
Shout out to News Now Chorizo.
Nicole.
Yes, through the window that I'd opened to talk to her. Yes.
Okay.
Which is a battery on a law enforcement officer and a felony.
Oh, so that's why she got arrested, because she threw a spoon at you.
Yes.
Reference to why.
What's going on, man? Okay.
I just need to know what she's trying to talk to know if I can prepare to bond her.
Yeah, so she's charged with 2 counts of battery on a law enforcement officer.
Can somebody tell me the story? She's like 5 feet tall. She's less than a
Okay, being small doesn't mean that you don't hit people, right?
Who did she hit? She hit you?
No, she didn't hit me. She threw something at that officer and hit him, and then she kicked the other officer over there.
So she was fighting y'all?
Correct.
What happened to why she had to feel like she had to fight somebody? What happened? Why she feel like she had to fight somebody?
Here, Officer Highsmith, you go ahead and finish before I'll explain to you. I was the one that she threw this at. With whatever substances is on them. This is what happened. I just finished the call over here in the corner, and all traffic was backed up due to the crash on MLK. I backed into the driveway, wiped right in my ear to check emails and to finish the call that I was working on.
See, they think they slick because they know that they didn't have no body cam footage of when the supposed incident of her throwing the green glob on the spoon at her. We're not going to say that she didn't throw a spoon with some green glob on it, but it's not necessarily true that she threw it at him. He could have just picked it up, got mad that she threw it, that she had the nerve to throw it anyway. So he used that as evidence to say, hey, she threw this at me. But there's no evidence to say that she threw it at him.
Your sister came up to my car, asked if I needed any help. I explained to her that I didn't, that I would be done very shortly. She said, I want you out of my driveway. I said, ma'am, I'll be done in just a couple minutes. Right there.
So you were parked in our driveway?
In the driveway, yes.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. With public access, where anyone can park.
I'm not asking you to explain anything. Go ahead.
You don't.
He keeps saying public access. He keeps saying his driveway is public access.
In the driveway, yes. Okay. With public access, where anyone can park. You don't want to explain it anymore?
No, I just wrote the story. You didn't have to explain the public access part. I get that you were in the driveway.
He really do that.
Legally and without any problem, okay? So I explained to your sister that I'd be leaving in a couple seconds. She said, I want you up my driveway now. And threw this spoon at me to hit me in the forearm with whatever green substance it was on.
Were you in the car?
I was inside my car.
And she threw the spoon made it in the car?
Yes, through the window that I'd opened to talk to her.
With the substance on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is a battery on a law enforcement officer and a felony.
Oh, so that's why she got arrested, because she threw a spoon at you?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. I'm going. Thank you.
Okay, were you born? You don't want to talk anymore? You're refusing to cooperate? Okay. Sorry, what?
She needs to have her phone with her, or when she gets her niece, she can call somebody.
You know how much you weigh?
Hold on.
I'm sorry, what? 98 pounds? Were you born here in Jacksonville?
Shout out Jason Finch.
Okay, were you born? You don't want to talk anymore? You're refusing to cooperate? Okay.
Heard, but
I just on the phone with 911 threatening to shoot the police. Okay.
I heard, but I saw a video of my own, but go ahead.
We were told over the phone, over the call, that she was like arguing with an officer, and if he steps toward her, she's gonna shoot him. Okay.
Then why did y'all step toward her? She's in her.
He did, and so this whole thing was blocked off from traffic.
He just lied. He
So
said he
let
didn't.
traffic pass.
He said, yo, this is the best question that was asked throughout this whole situation. This woman right here. She said, why did y'all step towards her? She's on her property. She's in her home. He lied and said he didn't. Pay attention.
Or she's gonna shoot him. Okay.
Then why did y'all I heard, but I saw a video of my own, but go ahead.
We were told over the phone, over the call, that she was like arguing with an officer, and if he steps toward her, she's gonna shoot him. Okay.
Then why did y'all step toward her? She's in her.
He did, and so this whole thing was blocked off from traffic. So he pulled in here to let traffic pass.
That's where she should get off at, right there. He lied.
He was gonna go the other way.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's all that. Because honestly, he tried to give me some whatever about this being public property. It's not. This whole, all this concrete is ours. So if she asked him to leave and he started arguing with her, I saw a video of what happened while she was saying, I asked him to leave and he's smirking and they yelling at me. What kind of authority do they? And then all of a sudden she escaped off to the driveway. Yeah, I know what she said.
Well, that didn't happen. We were fighting here. So I don't know what you saw.
I saw with my eyes. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know what happened before I got here, okay? But she was standing up here at the steps when I got here. We were told that she was threatening an officer with a gun. So we came up.
That's a lie.
One of the other officers was told by the first officer that she had thrown something at him and she was going to be arrested. So he tried to take her into custody. She ran back here and there was a gun right where homeboy is standing, okay, right there on the ground.
Did he say homeboy?
So he tried to take her into custody. She ran back here and there was a gun right where homeboy.
Wow, so he called the little boy homeboy.
And the first officer that she had thrown something at him and she was going to be arrested. So he tried to take her into custody. She ran back here and there was a gun right where homeboy is standing.
Wow.
Right on the ground. So we tried to grab her. She tries to retreat back to where the gun is. Her boyfriend tries to pull the first officer off of her. I push him back. He's fine. I don't have a problem with him. That's why he's not in handcuffs or anything like that. And then we take her into custody. We look over and there's a gun right by her. Okay, so even
where's the gun now?
We have it.
Is it loaded?
I haven't checked the other officer checks. So we're going to do a risk assessment on her, and she's out here threatening people with guns. So it's going to go in front of a judge or one of the detectives, and they're going to determine, okay, is this person mentally capable of carrying a gun? And she's going to threaten the police with it. Is that her gun or is it yours?
I don't know. I don't even live here. I don't know who's in it.
It's a little neon green pistol.
It's probably hers. She's probably allowed to have it. My sister's always walking straight and narrow. She's always done everything by the book.
Yeah, she doesn't have a record.
At all.
Yeah.
At all.
That's why we're wondering why she acted up like this.
Maybe don't need to speed. I'm trying to tell y'all.
Yeah.
I'm over here pissed off because I'm the one that usually goes to jail. You know, I'm the one that's usually in custody. I'm the one that's like, oh,
right.
That's me. Yeah. She's not like that. So I'm trying to figure out what y'all did to her.
What's up? What we did? I think it's a bad day for her, but I'm just telling you right now. Step out real quick, wait for me.
I'm staying right here. I'm all right.
Oh, I don't want to say it in front of the body.
It's okay.
Okay. Well, it could have been a lot. It could have been a lot more dangerous for her. If she's threatening the police with a gun.
That's what I'm upset about. Like I know.
That could have been really, really bad for her.
Yeah, but y'all have a body camera, so luckily.
We do, and mine was on the whole time. It was on the whole time. The other officer was on the whole time.
Probably still alive, right?
Absolutely not. Thank you very much.
I don't know.
The reason why she's not alive is because she didn't reach for it when we were there.
Oh my God. So what you're saying is she's not supposed to have her gun in her house?
If she's reaching for a gun in an argument with an officer,
she didn't, though, right?
She ran back to it.
But she didn't.
We tackled her before she got to it.
Thank God she didn't reach for her
When
gun.
she's on the ground.
What if the gun that she had right here was upstairs? Then would it have been
No, it would have been fine. It wasn't right by her feet. She was kicking it with her.
Well,
I mean, I'm just telling you, thank God that she didn't do any more craziness because it would have been really bad.
But I hope that I'm glad she's fine to the left.
So we hear the bullshit ass narrative that this officer is trying to give. Okay, so we already know what happened. She was standing on steps with her boyfriend. The officer was in the driveway, walking towards her. The officer caused the action. He the one that started the action as he walked towards her and put both of his arms out to grab her. She was standing on the steps with her boyfriend. She didn't threaten to pull or nothing. That's bullshit.
Her teeth are going to have to be repaired.
Well, it could have been a lot worse for her, and it could have been a lot worse for us. She's apparently crazy. She doesn't need a gun, period. So we're taking the gun. Okay. I'm done. Go ahead. Yep.
Stay in this house right here.
Okay. Well, you can't talk to her. She's going to jail for battery on a law enforcement officer.
Oh my God, that's all it is. So, my niece is,
You have to think about Brittany. No, you had to think about her name. I was surprised.
I'm upset. My dad's my sister just got a phone call. Well, you can come check on Rick.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm not auntie. My sister is not here, and she called me. Her mother calls me.
You're being summoned.
Sir, what's going on?
I'm sorry. Hopefully you know that. I've been here about 6 months now. Hopefully you can beer. Hopefully you can beer soon. So yeah, take care. So it is perfectly common and lawful for us to pull in here real quick for safety.
I mean,
an empty parking lot. Yeah.
This not empty. This is somebody that she owns.
But there's no cars, so there's no.
No, sir. Her car is no, her car's in the back.
Okay.
She owns this.
Okay.
She owns
But here's the thing. If people turn around in driveways, there's not a crime in that.
But sir, I don't know what's going on. Why is she caught? Y'all say she.
I'm going to tell you. Okay. So, whatever reason, he wants to point his car that way to look at the officers real quick, make sure it is not mean or wrong for him to do so. So while he's parked there, she comes out and says,
she wanted to know why.
And that's fine. And that's fine. And then she throws a spoon with some sort of liquid on it. With liquid on it.
Sir, it don't sound like Brittany.
Okay, well, we have the spoon. And we have the liquid. Hey, ma'am, right here. And here's the thing. The reality.
Can I see what's on it?
Don't touch it. Don't touch it, okay? But.
What's on this? What's on it?
We don't know. Is it a drug?
No, she's not that type of child. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
Listen, you can't dispute what the camera's going to reveal.
I don't know. Can I see what the camera reveals? Because I'm telling you, she's not that type of person.
You can't at court.
She's not that person.
But she threw that at him, okay? Then she went in and called and said, I'm going to shoot this officer, and she's holding a gun.
She called
the line and said that she's going to shoot the officer, and it's being recorded. I don't know what to tell you. I was not here at the time, but these are facts that
y'all still got her in the car.
Yes.
Could I talk to her?
So, ma'am, at this time, because of that, she keeps threatening.
No, sir. I just want to.
Well, so it kept going.
Y'all beat her and knock her teeth out.
No, ma'am. So, ma'am, she did that on the door. At no point in time did we ever punch, hit, strike, bite, nothing of her.
Can I just talk to Brittany?
No, ma'am. At court. Ma'am, because here's the thing. What if she wants to do something to you? She's already done it for no reason.
No, sir.
Sub Grappling 805, what up, bro?
No, sir. No, sir. You can't tell me that. Because I know that one I have raised up.
Okay,
so you can't tell me that about her.
When I went up here to talk to her and to
I had no idea level-wise to see.
She attacked me while trying to take her into custody.
She can take you out.
She kicked me here and she kicked me here. Okay, so I took her to
Did you grab her in some kind of way?
Well, you have to. You have to.
Grab her for what?
To put her in handcuffs. She has to go to jail for him.
No, you said
I grabbed her wrist to place her in handcuffs.
No, I'm saying this. Yeah. You're saying she kicked you. What reason why she kicked you?
I don't know why she kicked me. She just kicked me.
Yes, I think so. I think so.
So we took her into custody. We placed her in handcuffs. And when we went to stand up, the pistol that she threatened.
A pistol?
A pistol. A blue gun, a pistol. A little pew-pew. She had it on the ground next to where she was.
Because they went their house been broken.
So they saying they went forward to arrest her because she threw the spoon at him. But there's no proof that she threw the spoon at him.
It's not illegal to have a firearm, but I mean, but when you call police that threaten the police,
call the police.
Shout out to Chuck Derby.
Bam! Look at me. It is shocking.
She called.
You're not listening to me. It is just fine.
The police.
You call police that threaten the police.
Call the police. You call the police.
She called me. Ma'am, look at me. It is shocking.
She called.
You're not listening to me.
I'm listening to what's so much stuff happening with the police now? What's up? I ain't saying with you all.
No, but what's up?
A lot of stuff happening with the police
always doing stuff and killing people. You're like, listen, y'all want a big deal? Just listen. We're for jogging down the road.
Now, the police had nothing to do with that. They've already talked on that minute.
Sure, but listen to this. It's a lot of stuff. I ain't going back all that other stuff. But I'm just saying, people are not scared, afraid of the police.
No, the black people are calling the police each and every day.
Sure, because if they call them, a lot of them is still afraid of y'all.
Man, I've told us to let us know that if you can't hear her, she was going to shoot and kill us.
Wow.
We're not making it up. It is recorded. But here, listen, man, let me address the race issue you brought up, okay? Man, I've been a police officer for 15 years.
Sir, I'm not directly at you. But it's police officer. I'm doing
okay. But I want to show you something from a white police officer. Okay, listen, man. This is what I'm saying. I've only ever worked in an area where it's predominant. It's only black, okay? I had never felt like a black person did not like me or trust me. And I have had far more compliments, thank yous, and appreciatives from black people to a white male officer. And
I'm just trying to find out what's going on, officer. I'm just trying to find out. Y'all
He talking that bullshit. She ain't trying to hear that bullshit.
What you see on TV is not my experience of being a white officer in a black area. So what you see on TV, I think they want to stir the issue maybe, I don't know. But I'm telling you, as a white officer, I've never gotten the impression that people don't like me or are
not
afraid of me.
you.
So I don't
know. Certain officer, I am. Because I don't make some officers that's really nasty.
I don't know if you're actually keeping up with the news or anything.
No, sir, I keep up with the news, but not all of that. But I've had experience with an officer myself.
Okay, well,
I was nice, and I was calm, but he was rude and nasty, and did me off that way.
Okay.
So I'm saying.
Well, you brought up an issue that's currently in the news. Okay. Well, I actually know quite a bit about that because I've actually been keeping up with it myself. And you've seen that they've actually now released 4 other videos that shows that young man who was jogging and already broken into 4 houses.
No, I haven't seen that part yet.
Yes, it's all over the internet. It was being built. That's still breaking it in.
No, it's not.
There's other ones too.
I didn't see all the
He lives 11 miles. He also lives 11 miles from there, and unfortunately, you don't
see
drive
how
11 miles.
What can she do?
Well, she kicked me twice, and she threw
She can shoot him.
And she had a gun.
She didn't have it in her hand.
She did.
She's so little, cute, that little girl right there.
She did have the firearm in her hand. If she would have touched it, she'd be
You
dead.
hear that?
I thank God. She ain't. That didn't happen. I pray.
Okay.
I pray.
So
God
we
didn't happen.
did everything today
Oh God, no,
by
this
doing
is how
everything
we
the right way. The way we
Sir.
were taught, the way
Right,
we
look
were
at right for y'all. What's on the TV
She
saying?
did that herself.
Oh,
Either when she went to the ground or when she slapped her face on the door.
how she gonna slap her face on
Because
the
she
door?
ran into the door trying to run away from me. Again, that's going to be on video. Either when she went to the ground or when she slapped her face on the door.
How she gonna slap her face on
Because
the
she
door?
ran into the door trying to run away from me. Again, that's going to be on video, so we like the videos.
It's video.
We
It's video.
like it. We like the video. Trust me. She was standing right there. She turned and ran towards the door.
He talking, this dude right here talking I can't dispute it. It's on video. They lying through their teeth. He talking about you can't dispute it. It's on video.
Everything today
Oh God, no,
by
this
doing
is how we
everything the
change.
right way. The way we were taught, the way
Right,
we
look
were
at right for that's really nasty.
I don't know if you're actually or when she slapped her face on the door.
How she gonna slap her face on the
Because she
door?
ran into the door trying to run away from me. Again, that's going to be on video, so we like the videos.
It's video. It's video.
We like it. We like the video. Trust me. She was standing right there. She turned and ran towards the door. At some point in time,
Can I just look at her again? Can I just
she's in the back seat. You're not
Which one? I'm not fine. I see through that. I see through right there, right there.
It boils down to a liability issue for us. It boils down to a liability for us.
Look at her.
I mean, if you can see it through the window,
I'm saying, I see
back.
her.
Come on, that's it.
I'm gonna look at her. Chanel, let me. Just not Chanel, please, because I don't want these boys to do nothing else. Please be quiet, Chanel. Please. My name.
That's okay. You're okay.
Shout out to TJ. Appreciate you, bro.
basically done.
So, ma'am, you're fine, ma'am. I'll explain the totality of here. So here's what happened. This officer right here had a police service call short down the road, okay? He came down here to make sure those other officers got away from whatever they do. Nothing major down there, but said, let me make sure they leave safely. And while I'm parked here, let me check email. He couldn't go on the street because it was all parked. So it is perfectly common and lawful for us to pull in here real quick for safety.
I mean,
An empty parking lot. Yeah.
this not empty. This is something about a fucking she owned.
But there's no cars, so there's no.
No, sir.
It looks empty.
In the back.
Okay.
She owned this.
Okay.
She owned
Wait,
this property.
Okay. Keep going. Turn around the driveways. There's not a crime in there.
But sir, I don't know what's going on, but why is she caught? Y'all say she
I'm going to tell you. Okay. So, for whatever reason, he wants to point his car that way to look at the officers real quick, make sure that it's not mean or wrong for him to do so. So while he's parked there, she comes out and
she wanted to know why he
did it. That's fine. And then she throws a spoon. We have some sort of liquid on it. There's something on it. Because we have okay, well we have the spoon and everything that was on it. And,
what kind of liquid?
Man, right here. And here's the thing. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Okay.
What's on this? What's on it?
I don't know. We don't know. Is it a drug?
No, she's not that type of child. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Listen. You can't dispute what the camera's going to reveal.
I don't know. Can I see what the camera reveals? Because I'm telling you, she's not that type of person.
Okay. Well,
she's not that person. I'm telling you.
She threw that at him. Okay. Then she went in. And she told him to go.
She called.
He's going to shoot the officer. And it's being recorded. I don't know what to tell you. I was not here at the time, but these are facts.
Y'all still got her in the car?
Yes, ma'am. So, it keeps going. There she keeps threatening.
No, sir.
Well, so it kept going.
Y'all beat her and knock her teeth out?
No, ma'am. So, she did that on the door.
Bernard! What's up, Bernard?
Can I just talk to Brittany?
No, ma'am. Because here's the thing. What if she wants to do something to you? She's already done it for no reason.
No, sir. No.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Hi, Smith. Okay. This is her ID and her cell phone.
Shout out to Jason and Candles.
Yeah, you can give it to me later. I think she's trying to get the handcuffs in front of her, so now she's stuck. It's because you've got your arms all messed up right now. So swing your body this way and put your feet out here.
Shout out to Boston Santa Claus. Thank you, bro.
Okay, we'll adjust your cuff real quick.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Come this way just a little bit, okay? We're gonna try to fix these here for you. Okay. They're way down here. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Just stand right there for a second. There we go. Up. Stand up. Stand up. Okay. It's normal because of the way you tried to slip your cuffs off of you.
I didn't try to slip them off at all.
You just got really long arms? Okay. We're going to make sure they're nice and adjusted just right for you, okay? How's that right there? Is that good? That's good. Re-lock them to where they can't mess with you any, okay? No, man, he has to take you through the battery. just have a seat right here in this vehicle. Try not to sit on the cuffs. That's what makes you prefer, okay? Yeah, just like that. All right, give me just a second. All right, suspect's out of my car and in Officer Huntsman's. Come this way just a little bit, okay? We're gonna try to fix these.
Well, I'm not really. So, there's a lot to that. For example, 15 feet from the roadway is not your private property. It belongs to the public. Yes, 15 feet from the roadway. So also, listen, we're allowed to go anywhere that anyone else would be expected to go. For example, if someone was servicing your electricity, checking your meter, things like that, they're allowed to come up in your yard. We're allowed to go into your yard, your curtilage, things like that. No, we don't have to know. And anyway, it's the same thing. If somebody just came up in your yard and parked there for a minute and said, hey, I'm going to leave in a minute.
But that's not what you said.
Okay.
I said, I'm sure you're going to help you, and then you started yelling at me.
Okay.
But one more question. So you know the house beside me, and they have a...
Hold on just a second. Charlie 268, 1097 at the jail, ending mileage 60358.
The house beside me that has the fence there?
Mm-hmm.
Does the fence prevent you guys from going there?
No.
Or you still can go like past the fence?
If you still go into the fence, yes.
15 yards?
Well, we can go into your yard to investigate crime, things like that as well. We just can't go into your home. We can't go into your home without a warrant, but we can go into your yard. So, but regardless, even if he yelled at you, you can't throw things at people and hit them.
I didn't throw anything at you.
Okay.
If that's the case...
Well, I'm not really, you told me you didn't want to talk about it, so...
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted those questions answered.
So no, myself, that officer, I can tell you, does not look for people to put in jail. He specifically does not like to put people in jail. He prefers to handle it any way it can be handled without people going to jail. He's not the type of guy that goes out looking for people to arrest at all. So.
All right, so there y'all go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the body cam footage of Brittany Williams. Brittany Williams, ladies and gentlemen, of Jacksonville, Florida. All right, you heard the whole narrative they was trying to get across, and now I think she's gonna get off. I think she's gonna be fine. But I do have a problem with what she said. I think that was a hard lesson that she learned, that she won't say that again.
Shopping with Google helps you find whatever you're looking for.
No, but I really believe that was excessive force. It was uncalled for. There was a lot of communication mix-up, I believe, because the police did hear about a gun over the radio, but I don't think they should have. I don't think they should have attacked the way they did, especially when they didn't see the gun and she wasn't brandishing the gun and she wasn't telling them, communicating with them that she was going to shoot them. It's the resistance, man. Going to get into the Christopher Martin testimony. Let's check the Christopher Martin testimony out. Y'all up for that? Let me know in the comments, y'all. Let me know in the comments if y'all want to check the Christopher Martin testimony out. I was the young man that worked in Cup Foods.
Hit the lights! Everybody about to get killed out here. Like it for everybody.
It's a very psychological thing that's happening here.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Resistance. Second half. About to get into the Christopher Martin testimony. That's the young man that was working at Cup Foods at 38th in Chicago. He was in reception of the counterfeit $20 bill. He had some things to say. We're going to go over it. We're going to see how much standing testimony will go against Mr. Shaw. Hey there, Mr. Chauvin, that's your ass.
Legal sites, some sites, I get.
So for the record, this is starting at about 7:55, and I think 46 seconds roughly at the timestamp on the video, correct? No. Did you use that window and look out and see that? Perfect. And so then let's, Your Honor, if you could clear the screen, please, thank you. And then we will roll this video here for a little bit. Crossed the road and went to this vehicle. Obviously, the video shows you approaching the passenger side, correct?
Correct.
And why did you approach the passenger side?
Well, I didn't want to stand on the driver's seat side because that's where George was, but there's also oncoming traffic that I wouldn't be able to see. So I chose to go around.
Why didn't you want to go to the side where Mr. Floyd was?
Because of the oncoming traffic.
It wasn't about Mr. Floyd, it was the traffic.
Yes.
All right. And so we see you then, you're sort of behind your coworker. And tell us about then, did you have a conversation with the occupants of the car?
Sort of. I notified them that they needed to come back into the store and that the bill was fake, and that my boss wanted to talk to George, actually. Sorry, not to both of them, just to George.
And so when you approached the car from the passenger side, did you see how many people were in the car?
3.
And where were the 3 people in the car?
George was in the driver's seat. His friend was in the passenger seat, and there was a woman in the back seat, or possibly on the right back behind the passenger.
And so, had you seen any of those individuals before that?
No,
Had you seen them in the store earlier?
just the male.
And when you had this conversation at the vehicle, who were you talking to?
The person that George was with.
So the guy in the passenger seat, the front
Correct.
passenger. And did you make any observations at that time of Mr. Floyd?
Correct.
What did you see regarding Mr. Floyd?
He just seemed like he didn't want this to happen. Like he was just kind of like, why is it happening? Sort of thing.
Did he seem awake?
Yes.
And did he talk to you at all?
Not really.
Sound like to me he was acting like he didn't know what was going on and didn't want the trouble.
Did he talk to you at all?
Correct.
I don't want you to tell us what he said, but the end result, did they agree to come into the store?
No.
When you were there at the vehicle, who did you do most of the talking to?
The person in the passenger seat.
And did you think that you were talking loud enough for the other people in the vehicle to hear?
Correct.
And so then after that conversation, what did you do after that?
I went back inside with my coworker.
And when you got back inside the store, what did you do?
I told my manager that he did not want to come to the store.
And did you get some further direction then from your manager?
Correct.
And what was that?
Go back outside again. He told me to come inside the store so we can talk to him.
All right, so try it again.
Correct.
And then for that second trip, did you go with some different other coworkers?
Correct.
All right, so what I'm going to do now is start Exhibit 31 up again, and we'll watch that process, okay?
If you're doing online...
Now I'm going to stop Exhibit 31 here briefly because the image has changed, correct?
Correct.
And now this video is inside of Cup Foods again, correct?
Correct.
And so we'll see here that you come in, and this is when you had the conversation with your manager about the first trip.
Correct.
All right, so let's let 31 run again. Now, if we can stop here for a moment. Timestamp reflects 7:57:56. Walked off screen, correct?
Correct.
And what was going on at this point?
I think that was the conversation I had with my manager when I was saying that he did not want to come inside, but I'd offer to pay, but he said no, just tell him to come back inside.
So did you tell your manager you were just...
This is the bitch shit that I got a problem with right here. This bitch ass manager of Cup Foods This is his motherfucking establishment, okay? He is the proprietor of this motherfucking business. This man, Christopher Martin, shout outs to him for giving a hell of a testimony. And shout outs to him for being professional, not only on the stand, but at that day in motherfucking Cup Foods. Because he wasn't sure if he received a counterfeit 20. He did say he received a counterfeit 20, but he notified his manager. Now, not only one time did his manager say, go outside to retrieve George Floyd, but after he came in the first time, the bitch-ass manager says, go get him again. It's a bitch-ass motherfucker.
Take care of the 20.
I believe so.
And but he directed you then to go back to the vehicle again.
Correct.
Now, we saw you go out on the first trip with another individual, another employee.
Correct.
And he did not come back into the story.
So what I heard is that he's part owner. He's part of the family. So I seen an interview of him explaining what happened that day. And he explained that he'd been in that neighborhood. Him and his family has been in that neighborhood, I think, since like 88, 89. They know everybody in the neighborhood, and, that's the only job that he had. So I would assume that he's part owner and acting manager as well.
We'll pause the video right here if we could, please, and for the record, now we're back outside again, correct?
Correct.
And the record should reflect that we paused at 20:21:43. So we see that two other individuals coming out before. And there's appears to be a woman in a black jacket, correct?
Correct.
And is she a coworker, or was she at the time?
Correct.
Did she work there longer than you?
Correct.
And the other individual has a white t-shirt on, and he worked there longer than you?
Correct.
Is he actually related to the owners of the store?
Correct.
And so they were ahead of you at this point, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you had to sort of jog to keep up with them.
Correct.
And all right, so let's run 31 then. Now let's pause here just for a moment, please. Record should reflect we're at 20:22:15 as the timestamp when we paused it. The individual in the white t-shirt initially went up to the driver's side, correct?
Correct.
And we see you standing here behind the SUV, correct?
Correct.
And eventually the individual in the white t-shirt went around the passenger side door, which was open.
Correct.
And were you able to hear the conversation that the guy in the white t-shirt was having with the occupants of the vehicle?
At this point in time, I was not able to.
So then let's run the video some more, please. All right, now we see, if we can pause here, please. It's 20:22:21. You walked up to the passenger side of the SUV, correct? Correct. So at this point, were you able to hear the conversations that the individual in the white t-shirt was having with the occupants?
Correct.
And were you also able to hear what the occupants of the vehicle were saying?
Correct.
And can you describe for the jurors then what occurred during this period at the SUV?
So in the second time I went out, the person in the passenger seat was doing most of the talking. We were telling him just come inside, we just want to talk to George. And the person in the passenger seat was saying how that's not me. Like, I tried to use a fake bill and he put me on game, so I ripped it. And that'll happen in the video because he also tried to use a fake bill that I did not let him use. He ripped it and put it on the ground there. So he was just explaining like what had happened.
And so, just to be clear, you said the passenger seat, you're talking about the front passenger seat.
Correct.
And at that time, did you have any interaction with Mr. Floyd directly?
I do not recall.
So let's run Exhibit 31 a little bit. I'm going to pause it here real quickly, please. The record is 20-22-34. You saw the original in the white t-shirt, bend over and pick something up. Can you tell the jury what was happening there?
He was picking up the fake bill that the individual in the passenger seat tried to use.
Right. Reference earlier, one that was torn in half.
Correct.
Is that the bill that was torn in half?
Correct.
All right. And let's keep going 31.
Hit the lights! Everybody about to get killed out here. Like it for everybody.
It appears the two of you are now walking up. I'm going to ask to pause it right here, please. The timestamp reflects 20-23-35. It appears the two of you are now walking away from the SUV, correct?
Correct.
So during those preceding moments, it appears that the two of you are talking with at least some occupants of the vehicle.
Correct.
And did you have any conversations with Mr. Floyd, or was it just the front seat passenger?
Just the front seat passenger.
Were you able to see Mr. Floyd at all during that interaction?
Correct.
What did you see about him?
As I said earlier, he was just kind of shaking his head, laying his hand in there, like kind of like, why is this happening to me? Like, I don't want this happening, sort of thing.
And so he was appeared to be awake.
Correct.
And so what was the end result of that conversation?
They did not. George Floyd did not choose to come to a store.
Yeah, the passenger.
Correct.
And so then let's watch Exhibit 31 round here, please.
So the most important thing I got out of this clip of Christopher Martin and another employee going over to the vehicle to approach George Floyd and the passenger about the 20-hour bill. What I get out of this is that, yes, they refused to go back in, but also there wasn't a violent interaction, there was no argument, there wasn't anything of confrontation that ensued. You know, if we didn't know what was going on and we seen this footage, we just think that two people walked up to the vehicle, had a conversation, and left. That's how smooth it was.
So what was the end result of that conversation?
They did not. George Floyd did not choose to come to the store.
Yeah, the passenger.
Correct.
And the end of that video shows you and the other individual entering back into the store, correct?
Correct.
When you got back into the store, what did you do about your 2 trips out to the vehicle?
We told our manager that he still refused to come into the store.
Do you know what the manager decided to do about that?
He instructed one of my coworkers to call the police.
And so did you know if that happened?
Correct.
That somebody did call the police?
Correct.
Was it you who called the police about it?
No.
Was it another coworker?
Correct.
And did you ask the coworker to make the call?
No.
And were you present when you made the call?
Correct.
So you were there next to him or something?
Correct.
And so at some point, did the police respond to the store?
Correct.
And when they responded, did you see the officers actually come into the store?
I do not recall.
Did they deal with you when they came to the store?
No.
Do you know who they dealt with?
They went and talked to my manager.
And
shout out to Wake Up America. I hear you, bro.
The officers and all that? No. So what did you do?
I was still working cashier.
Just went about your business?
Correct.
And as you did that, as you continued working, did you notice a commotion out front of the store?
Correct.
Do you recall what it was that sort of first drew your attention out there?
I just saw a few people at first, and then the crowd grew larger, and pretty soon the store was empty as well, so there was no one that I needed to help inside the store, so then I proceeded to go outside and see what was happening.
When you saw this crowd gathering, where was the crowd?
It was right where the bus stop is on Chicago.
Right
Or a little to the left.
Right in front of the
10
store?
paces.
I'm sorry, I spoke over you.
Sorry, I was just saying it was just 10 paces to the left of the bus stop.
And so the bus stop, as you're looking out from the store?
Correct.
And so did you, in fact, decide to go out and look into what the crowd was gathering for?
Correct.
And when you went out there, what did you see?
I saw people yelling and screaming. I saw Derek with his knee on George's neck on the ground.
Well, let me back up just a little bit. Now, you say Derek, you mean Mr. Chauvin?
Correct.
Now, did you know who that person was at the time?
No.
You just learned his name since then?
Correct.
So, was that person wearing a police uniform?
Correct.
And where did you see that individual?
On top of George Floyd.
And you didn't, well, other than seeing Mr. Floyd that day, you did not know him before that.
Correct.
Did you recognize him as the person who had been in the store earlier?
Correct.
The person that you were trying to talk to yesterday? And did you see any other officers in the area?
I saw, I think it was Officer Tao.
Where did you see him?
He was in front of the crowd, kind of telling people to stand back.
And do you remember about how many people were in the crowd?
About several.
And when they were, well, what did you see the officer on Mr. Floyd? What was the relation of their two bodies? What happened there?
George was motionless, limp, and Chauvin seemed very, he was in a resting state, meaning like he just rested his knee on his neck.
What did you do when you saw it?
I pulled my phone out first, and I called my mom and told her not to come downstairs, and then I started recording.
And did you make a recording?
No.
Why not?
Later on that night, I deleted it because when they picked George up off of the ground, the ambulance went straight on 38 instead of going straight on Chicago. And if you live in South Minneapolis, the easiest way to get to the hospital would have been straight on Chicago. So that to me kind of made it like clear that he was no longer with me.
So you thought he died?
Correct.
Not quite sure why that would, make you delete the video.
Oh, I just didn't want to have to show it to anyone. That'd be questioning.
And so after you called your mom, started taking a video, what did you do after that?
I was recording until one of my coworkers was pushed by an officer.
And so what had you seen the coworker do right before the push?
He was yelling at the officer, kind of what the other people in the car were doing, and asking them to check his pulse, if he's breathing, see if he's okay, kind of thing.
So did he leave the sidewalk curb area and go onto the road?
Did not recall.
The coworker of yours that got pushed, do you know how old he was that day?
I do not recall.
Older or younger than you?
Younger.
And after he got pushed, did you see what happened to him or what became of him?
Yes. My other coworker just like grabbed him up and brought him inside.
So removed him from the scene?
Correct.
And prior to coming into court, did we show you security video from Cup Foods that shows that area?
Correct.
That area while you were out
there? Correct.
And did that appear to depict truly and accurately the time period during which you were out there during this incident?
Correct.
And Your Honor, out for what we've marked as Exhibit 33.
Your Honor, 33 is received.
All right, so now I'm going to start showing Exhibit 33. We're going to pause this like we've done the other videos, all right? I'm going to pause it right here for a moment. You recognize this scene?
Correct.
And this is you in the foreground? Right?
Correct.
And what were you doing right at that moment?
That was when I was calling my mom to tell her not to come down the stairs.
And if she were to come down the stairs, you were living, correct?
Correct.
Is the door she would have come out, would that have been this scene?
Correct.
Can you take that to the house and just show her that door would be?
It would swing open right here.
So if she had come down, she would come right into this scene, correct?
Correct.
And then you talked about a coworker who was younger than you, who came out. Is that the individual in the white t-shirt?
Correct.
And, okay, so then we will continue to run Exhibit 33. I'm going to pause it right here, please. For the record, this is 8/28/34. And can you describe for the jurors what you're doing at this moment?
I was recording the scene.
You would watch farther over towards the scene.
Correct.
Really by the door where your mom would have come out if she had come.
Correct.
And the individual in the white t-shirt, he had stepped off the curb into the street here, correct?
Correct.
Right. And so then let's continue to run exhibit 33. And then we pause right there, please, at 8:28:41. Is that the moment you were talking about when your coworker got pushed? Good. And did you see it all anywhere in there where he touched a police officer? No. And so then you are now standing around behind that group of people, correct? Correct. Did you know anybody in that crowd? My two coworkers. All right. So right now, if you could just put like a line or a dot where your two coworkers are. And both of those are individuals who went out during the second trip to the SUV, correct? Correct. And did you know any of the other people there in the crowd at the time? Not at the time. Okay. Did you know Miss Bernard? I think. Yes. Do you know Alyssa Bernard? Yes. Was she there at the time? Correct. Do you see where she is now? Correct. And how did you know her? Just through school. And all right, so then let's continue to run exhibit 32, please. Now stop right here, please. You describe for the jurors and what we're seeing, what's going on there in that segment of the video. No, when my coworkers kind of grabbed up the other coworker and brought him back inside, and I was just yelling like, chill out, chill out, chill out. And so when his coworkers came to get the young man in the white t-shirt, he went with them back into the store. Correct. You were following them? Correct. All right, so let's continue to run 33. Now we'll pause here for a moment, please. The record is 2904. Can you tell the jurors what happened, what you were doing here? At this point, I think I was just kind of emotional, and I went to the African American. I was standing there in the curb, and I was just like they're not gonna help them. This is what we have to deal with. So. Sustained. It'll be stricken. That's fine. So you had a conversation with another person standing there. Correct. And when you walked up there, you saw it just before I stopped it, there was a young girl there in a green shirt. Did you see her when you were walking up there? Correct. You remember seeing her in the store earlier? Correct. Did you know who she was? No. And you remember being the cashier when she was in the store earlier? Correct. And then can we continue to run exhibit 32, please? I'm going to pause here for a moment. The record should reflect 8:29:55. So you're standing there with your hands on your head for a while, correct? Good. What's going through your mind during that time period? Disbelief and guilt. Why guilt? If I would have just not taken the bill, this could have been avoided. We also saw another individual get pushed by an officer, correct? Correct. And what did you do after that happened? I was just trying to calm him down, tell him to stand back. And, all right, so let's continue running 33 then.
With Home Chef Fast and Fresh, all you need is a microwave or oven. And just
you talking to there, Mr.
My mom.
Okay, so that takes us to the end of Exhibit 33. You were going back into the store.
Correct.
And so then did you just continue to work your shift?
Correct. I just don't say.
You got Cup Foods as long as you could? So did you continue to work at Cup Foods as long as you could? Why not?
I just don't say.
I have no further questions.
You are 20 years old. 19. I'm sorry. And at the time, you were both living and working at Cup Foods, right? Or in the apartments above, you were living and working there. Correct. All right. And you testified that you had worked there for about a month and a half to 2 months before this incident? 4 months. 4 months. You would agree that you've made a few statements in connection with this case? Correct. You were first interviewed by agents of the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and FBI back on September 10th of last year. Do you recall that? Correct. And then you have had another meeting as of March 12th with prosecutors and other agents of the DCA, right? Correct. And you understand that those statements were recorded? Correct. And you understand that we've been provided with transcripts? Correct. Have you had an opportunity to review your statements prior to coming into court? Yes. And you had an opportunity to review your transcripts? Correct. All right. So I just kind of want to walk through again. We've now watched a few videos from both inside the store, outside the store, and from the neighboring business. Right? Correct. And you've had an opportunity to address some things that happened inside the store, outside the store, throughout the whole incident, right? Correct. All right. So, you were working, your shift you said started at about 3 p.m. that day? Correct. And this incident ultimately was around the 7:30 to 8 o'clock hour, right? Correct. And you video, when we were watching the first video, you and your coworkers seemed to get along quite well. Correct. Talking, laughing, having fun, interacting with customers, things of that nature. Correct. And the store is sort of like a one-stop kind of store, right? You can do a lot of things in the store. Correct. You've got a deli, you said, you've got cell phone service, cell phone repair, snacks, and then there's the separate tobacco area, right? Correct. Now, in the store, is there, where we see you behind the counter, is there an entrance for employees into the tobacco area that you go through? Could you ask the question again, please? Sure. So I understand when a customer comes into Cup Foods, there are essentially 2 doors that they can go through, right? Correct. One of them on the right-hand side is the tobacco shop, right? Correct. And the one on the left-hand side is the convenience store, the general store, right? Correct. All right. And the tobacco shop is separate because you have to be a certain age to go into the store, right? Correct. You can be 21, right? No, 18. To buy products or to simply go into the store? To go into the tobacco portion. I'm not sure it's the age requirement. People can no matter how old they were. All right.
is within the store, is there a partition or some sort of glass that inside the store separates the tobacco area from the...
This is the guy I'm speaking about. He was never shown on the video, and I believe he is the one who sent Christopher Martin out twice to retrieve George Floyd.
My name is Mike Abumayan.
Say your name. Say your name.
My name is Mike Abumayan. We want to extend our condolences to the George Floyd family, and we want to express our feelings.
Give me a second.
About
say your name.
My name is Mike Abumayan. We want to extend our condolences to the George Floyd family, and we want to express our feelings about what transpired and led to the death of George Floyd. It was murder and executed in cold blood, and thankfully so, it was recorded on video, and there needs to be some accountability by the police that were involved in this murder, and until
the guy on the stand is an employee.
Justice is brought to the family of George Floyd, this outrage is not going to stop, and the police brutality and the racial injustice in this country has to be stopped. And we believe that until there's ethnic justice and justice, that there's not going to be an end to the uproar that's going on in this country.
Now, I never received that word that he was a manager, just an employee, and he also lived over top of the store with his mother. He just testified, he just said a few minutes earlier that he only worked there about 4 months before the incident happened.
Can you, so how long has your family been in this community here?
We started in 1989. I was 5 years old. It's been my first ever and only job. We know people by first name. When we first opened up, the community welcomed us. We've always enjoyed being here. We've always known people, and they've always had our back. They've always respected us, and we respected them. And we know people that are now grandparents that when they began coming to our establishment, they were just kids or teenagers.
So you guys are rooted here in the community?
Absolutely.
I know it's probably a very touchy subject, but can you speak at all about why the police were called? Just to clear that up.
That's okay. We made a statement a couple days ago and clarified or gave some closure to the family. There was an acquaintance that was with George Floyd that presented a fake counterfeit bill before he did. That bill was actually acknowledged and was not taken from him. And it was given back to his acquaintance. The authorities were not called. He left our establishment, and about 15 minutes later, George Floyd presented a counterfeit bill to a different clerk, and it was accepted. And it wasn't until after George Floyd left the establishment until it was acknowledged as a fake counterfeit bill. And when the authorities were called, which I regret them being called, and I wish they would have never been called, George Floyd was not in the establishment.
He says, I believe this is the one who gave the order to call the police. Now he says he wished they never were called.
So, what would you like people to know? And do you have any advice about all of the looting and the rioting that's happening? Can you share any thoughts about that? Any advice that you give to people about just staying safe or staying out the way?
What's going on in this country?
Can you, so how long has your family been in this community here?
We first opened up, the community welcomed us. We always respected them. And we know people that are now grandparents that when they began coming to our establishment, they were just kids or teenagers.
So you guys are rooted here in the community.
Absolutely.
I know it's probably a very touchy subject, but can you speak at all about why the police were called? Just to clear that
That's
up.
okay. We made a statement a couple days ago and clarified, gave some closure to the family. There was an acquaintance that was with George Floyd that presented a fake counterfeit bill before he did. That bill was actually acknowledged and it was not taken from him. And it was given back to his acquaintance. The authorities were not called. He left our establishment, and about 15 minutes later, George Floyd presented a counterfeit bill to a different clerk, and it was accepted. And it wasn't until after George Floyd left the establishment until it was acknowledged as a fake counterfeit bill. And when the authorities were called, which I regret them being called, and I wish they would have never been called, George Floyd was not in the establishment.
So, what would you like people to know? And do you have any advice about all of the looting and the rioting that's happening? Can you share any thoughts about that? Any advice that you give to people about just staying safe or staying out the way or even engaging in that?
We're for protesting, and we're for voicing out your anger and voicing out your frustration, but we're not for looting, we're not for burning down buildings, and we're not for any kind of rioting. We're standing against that.
And that's part owner, member of the family of Cup Foods. Let's get back to Christopher Martin.
Correct. And so my question is where you like, do you have to walk out through the convenience store door and go into the tobacco store door, or is there a separate entrance where you can get into the tobacco portion? From where you started? If you were the cashier there, right? Oh, you can just walk over to the tobacco section. You don't have to go all the way around. Right. That's what you meant. That's what I meant. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm sorry. I may have not been articulating that as well. Yeah, no worries. All right. And you were in the store and you observed a person who you later learned was George Floyd coming to the store. Correct. And you ultimately assisted him in the store. Correct. And he was in the store, and the person that you observed in the front passenger seat was also in the videos we just watched, right? Correct. He had on a pair of red sweatpants and a white t-shirt, I believe. Correct. All right. And did you have any interactions with him while you were in the store? Correct. I believe you said that he had also attempted to use a counterfeit bill? Correct. But you stopped him? Correct. Did that happen before or after your interaction with Mr. Floyd? Before. All right. And so when he handed you that bill, you knew that bill was a fraud. Correct. And you immediately kind of said, hey, I'm not taking this bill. Correct. You knew the store policy at that time, right? Correct.
Shout outs, Wake Up America.
You took a counterfeit bill, that became your responsibility. Correct. And so it gets deducted from your paycheck in other words. Correct. And you have some sort of like store tab where you could buy merchandise yourself at the store or services, and it would get deducted from your salary. Correct. All right. And so that interaction with that other individual, approximately, was it earlier in the day? Was it, a few minutes before you interacted with Mr. Floyd? How long before did that happen? Earlier in the day. So both Mr. Floyd and that individual had been in the store earlier in the day as well. Correct. And was that an hour, 2 hours? Do you recall? I do not recall. All right. And but you remembered him when he came back in the store later in the afternoon. Correct. You remember he was the guy that had tried to hand you a counterfeit bill for murder. Correct. And so when Mr. Floyd and this other individual came back in the store, we observed kind of him walking around the store, right?
Correct.
And you were helping other customers, you were talking to your coworkers. It's fair to say you weren't paying a lot of attention to what Mr. Floyd was doing at all times he was in the store.
Correct.
But now that you had an opportunity to see the video, you get to see some of his other interactions and things of that nature, right?
Correct.
Now, there were other customers in the store. The store's a pretty busy store, right?
Correct.
And your manager that you talked to, did you notice that he has what appeared to be a pistol in his?
Correct.
You know him to carry a firearm at the store?
Correct.
And when you watched the video, did you see Mr. Floyd sort of do some little dance at one point? No. I'll come back. But you didn't observe that when he was in the store? No. And if it's on the video, it would be on the video, right?
Correct.
Again, so at some point, Mr. Floyd appeared to purchase some food as well, right?
Correct.
That being a banana, it looked like in the video.
Correct.
Did you sell him the banana?
I do not recall.
Okay. And when he handed you that $20 bill, you testified that you immediately knew it was a fake.
Correct.
Did it appear to be the same type of fake, or maybe even the same counterfeit bill that you had refused earlier in the day?
Correct. It did appear to be similar.
All right. And you took that bill and you held it up and you kind of looked at it through the light, right?
Correct.
What were you looking for?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I was just looking at it. I don't know.
But you immediately recognized it to be a counterfeit bill.
Correct.
And, you know, some bills have like a metal or some sort of a stripe through it, or you've been looking for something like that.
I'll be honest, I don't know what I was looking for. I just knew it was fake.
You could tell based on the texture of the bill.
And the color of it, as I stated earlier.
Yep, that is blue paper. So, and you had a pleasant interaction with Mr. Floyd.
Right.
You were asking him about sports and things of that nature, right?
Correct.
And you formed the opinion that Mr. Floyd was under the influence of something.
Correct.
And you based that on sort of, I think you said, a delay in his speech and response, right?
Correct.
So you had, unlike a conversation that we may be having right now, that's rapid, and if you asked him a question, it would be much more of a slow or delayed response.
Correct.
And I believe in your interview, you also indicated that he was having some trouble with certain words.
Correct. I think he was trying to form the words.
So he was delayed in his speech, and you believed him to be under the influence of something.
Correct.
And you were present when your coworker called 911.
Correct.
And do you recall him telling 911 that he could be under the influence?
Correct.
And you had also had, by the time 911 was called, you had two other interactions with Mr. Floyd outside of the car.
Correct.
All right. And so you made the decision after Mr. Floyd handed you this counterfeit $20 bill that you weren't going to call him out on it like you did with the earlier bill.
Correct.
And was that in part because you felt maybe he's under the influence?
Partially.
It's a very psychological thing that's happening here.
Then it kind of seemed like he was trying to scheme, like he knew it was a fake bill, and he was trying to get over. I thought that George didn't really know that it was a fake bill, so I thought I'd be doing him a favor.
Okay, trying to help him out. And could you have, I'm just asking generally, could you have just let it kind of go and then told your manager later, hey, put it on my tab?
Correct.
And but you made the decision to talk to your manager, show him the bill, and your manager instructed you to go talk to Mr. Floyd and his friend out in the car.
Correct.
So when you went out to the car the first time with your first coworker, you had a relatively short conversation. And you went to the passenger side of the vehicle, and the person in the red pants and the white t-shirt, that was the same person that had previously tried to pass the fake $20 bill.
Correct.
And you were encouraging them to come into the store. Correct. You were kind of saying, you gotta come in, take the fake bill, we gotta deal with this, right?
Correct.
You specifically told them that he had used a counterfeit bill.
Correct.
And that you needed to come in and either pay for the cigarettes or talk to the manager. Right?
Correct.
Okay. And how would you describe the general tenor of that conversation? What I mean by that is, was it pleasant or was it more aggressive?
It was pleasant. It wasn't in any way, shape, or form aggressive. It was just pretty annoying.
Yeah, just come on in, guys. It was your first attempt to kind of say, hey, come on in, guys. You got to deal with this.
Correct.
And you were trying to be polite to these gentlemen.
Correct.
And you then had that conversation. And during that first conversation, you said that Mr. Floyd was not really speaking to you. Right?
No.
And you said that he was kind of putting his hands up and putting his head back and things of that nature, right?
Correct.
And you then went back into the store, talked to your manager again, and told him they were not agreeable to coming into the store.
Correct.
And the second time you left the store, you were sort of following the other coworkers, agreed?
Correct.
And you would agree that video
Okay,
sort of
images of Brandy Norwood.
almost run around the store.
Correct.
And you wanted to get them before they drove away, right? Or why would you run the second time?
Correct.
I mean, just so they didn't drive away, or for some other reason?
Correct.
Now, in terms of the second exchange of the vehicle, the coworker went to the driver's side at first, right?
Correct.
You stayed back a little bit, right?
Correct.
And then you brought back up to the vehicle, right?
Yes.
And you heard what was the conversation, you heard what was being said, both by the passenger of the vehicle as well as your coworker.
Correct.
You indicated that the passenger pulled out the other $20 bill, right?
Picked it up off the ground.
Why was it on the ground?
Because he threw it on the ground.
The bill that Mr. Floyd used, was that still in the store?
Correct.
And so this other $20 bill he threw it on the ground, right?
Correct.
The coworker picks it up, and who ripped it?
The person that was in the passenger seat.
He handed it, the coworker handed it back to him or something? Or did he rip it and then throw it on the ground?
The person in the passenger seat ripped the bill, threw it on the ground. The bell was talking to him, and the person picked it up and handed it to him about.
Okay. And again, this conversation was primarily with the passenger of the vehicle.
Correct.
And there was a female in the back seat of the car.
Correct.
Was she engaged in the conversation at all either?
No.
All right. So, and Mr. Floyd, again, he was not really part of the conversation at that point either. He didn't say, you didn't remember him saying anything.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right,
I would say, I do not recall.
Okay. But again, you described his behavior, I think, as kind of just shaking his head, putting his hands up, putting his head back, things of that nature.
Correct.
The second conversation was the demeanor of, or tenor of that conversation more heated?
Yes.
And there was an outright refusal by either Mr. Floyd or his passenger to come back into the store.
Correct.
And it was based on that conversation that you decided to, or it was decided by your manager to call 911.
Correct.
And again, you were present and heard the 911 call.
Correct.
Now, in your initial conversation with agents, when they were asking you about approaching the vehicle, you recall describing.
Images of Brandy Norwood.
Correct.
What does that mean?
A lot of situations happen.
And you recall describing your conversation and the words that Mr. Floyd was having trouble saying. You remember now today what words Mr. Floyd was having trouble saying? No. Could have been baseball. Remember saying that? Remember, you don't remember? Would it refresh your recollection? I do not recall. Would it refresh your recollection to view a transcript of your statement?
Absolutely.
Apologize, I can't find it right now. We may come back to that. Do you recall describing some other behaviors of Mr. Floyd while he was in the store?
Correct.
What were those behaviors?
He was doing a couple of stretches, like a lunge.
Okay. Kind of stepping forward like this?
No, it was more of a side lunge. Start there.
Like that? So, for the record, I'm standing kind of feet together and stretching over to the side with one leg, right? Putting his arms in front of him. And kind of based on your observations of his behavior, his speech patterns, that's what caused you to form the impression he was under the influence.
Correct.
Now then you ultimately met with the prosecution team on March 12th in preparation for your testimony.
Correct.
And that's when you were able to view some of the videos that we've watched here today.
Correct.
And again, you understood that there were agents or law enforcement officers that were there at that time.
Correct.
You recall telling them that you felt that Mr. Floyd couldn't comprehend the conversation.
Which conversation?
Your conversation with him.
The first conversation we had? I do not recall, but if that's on my transcript, that's the way it is.
Now, you said after that phone call to the police, you didn't see the police kind of come in the store, you didn't deal with them initially, right?
Correct.
And you just kind of went back to work.
Good night, OG Perfect, son.
Dealing with customers, goofing off with your coworkers, kind of just average day, right?
Correct.
But then at some point you noticed there was a commotion outside and you decided to go back outside and see what was going on, right?
Correct.
And you said the first thing you did was to call your mom to tell her not to come downstairs.
Correct.
And then you walked over and you started recording, right?
Correct.
And then after you did some recording, you saw your coworker appear to be pushed by the police officer, right?
Correct.
And you got your coworker, you brought him back inside.
I did not.
Your other coworkers kind of went back inside, right?
Correct.
And you stayed outside, or it appeared that you walked back to the door and then walked back to the crowd.
Correct.
And you described the crowd that they were yelling and screaming.
Correct.
And at one point you tried to actually stop someone.
Hold them back.
Hold them back.
Correct.
And that individual appeared to be pretty angry.
Correct.
And you held him back because you didn't want him to get involved.
Yes. Well, I would say not necessarily angry. He had just been pushed, so he was trying to defend himself.
And you kind of just said, man, calm down and stand back, right? I have no further questions, sir. Thank you very much for your time. Any regrets? Look how big go. Prior working, or during your work at Coach, did they ever send you to training on how to identify a fake bill? No. No, just learning from experience.
Correct.
Shout outs to Niner Nation.
You did interact with Mr. Floyd in the store. What was his demeanor like?
He seemed very friendly, approachable. He is talkative. He seemed to just be having average Memorial Day, just living his life.
No, I'm not, Lover Wise to say. Shout outs We the People.
During the second trip out to the vehicle, it was your coworker who did the majority of the talking to Mr. Floyd and the passenger.
Correct.
So Mr. Nelson asked you to agree that that was a more heated conversation. Was it you who made it more heated or your coworker?
My coworker.
And Mr. Nelson asked you to agree that there was outright refusal to come back into the store. Was that the actual wording that was used, or was that just Mr. Nelson's words, outright refusal?
That was Mr. Nelson's words.
Mr. Floyd did not say to you, outright refusal to come back into the store.
No.
But, to be fair, they were not coming back to the store.
Correct.
You were asked also about the stretches that Mr. Floyd was doing in the store. And Mr. Nelson demonstrated for us that was pretty accurate demonstration of what you saw.
Correct.
During that, Mr. Floyd did not fall down.
No.
Lose his balance.
No.
When he indicated he wanted to buy some cigarettes, you and he both had to move down to the cigarette counter, correct?
Correct.
And is that what he did? Did he tell you I want to buy some cigarettes?
Correct.
Did he tell you what brand you wanted?
I do not recall.
We saw you just grab a pack, right?
That could have been the case.
And you gave them to him.
Correct.
You provided him money. Took the change, right?
Correct.
He was able to complete that whole transaction, correct?
Absolutely.
You didn't have to guess at what cigarettes he wanted.
Correct.
So Spanish rights. Shout outs to Claus Newsman.
Thank you. You were asked a couple of questions about counterfeit bill. Do you get a lot of counterfeit bills in that store? No. Has it happened before? Correct. And I believe you were previously asked about good counterfeits and bad counterfeits in your statements. I do not recall. Have you seen some bills that are better counterfeits than other bills? I don't think so. Okay. Not personally, no. Okay. You understood that immediately that's what a counterfeit is, correct? No. Is good? The state would call Christopher Belfry to the stand.
Sir, in order to be able to be heard more clearly, I'm going to keep my mask on. But
Good looking out, Claus News now. Appreciate you.
All right.
Hit the lights! Everybody about to get killed out here. Like it for everybody.
L-F-R-E-Y. All right, it sounds like it'll work fine even if you don't mean it, so feel free. All right, Mr. Frank.
Good morning, Mr. Belfry.
Good morning.
And can you tell us, sir, how old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 45.
Okay. And just tell us if you were the general area where you live.
South Minneapolis.
And May 25th of 2020, is that where you live?
May 25th of 2020 is where I live? No.
Is that where you lived on that day?
Yeah, South Minneapolis.
And how long have you lived in South Minneapolis?
About 3 years.
And you are, well, let me ask you this, are you familiar with the area of 38th in Chicago?
Yes.
And is there a store at one of the corners, at least one of the corners of 38th in Chicago?
Yes.
Based on May 25th there was.
Yes.
And is there also a restaurant there?
Yes.
What was the restaurant at that intersection?
What was it?
Yeah, what was the name of it?
I really don't know.
Okay. On May 25th of 2020, did you go to the area of 38th in Chicago to get some food from one of those restaurants?
Oh, yes. Cup food.
Okay. So you went to Cup Foods to get food?
Right. But there's another restaurant across the street.
I was, so my fault. Right. So you went to that intersection sometime in the late afternoon or the evening, correct?
Correct.
And where did you drive there?
Yes.
Where did you park?
On the corner of 38th in Chicago, on the 38th side, facing below to our, where's that, Cedar.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up something we've had admitted as Exhibit 1. That should come up on the screen in front of you. You see that photograph?
Right.
Do you recognize what is depicted there?
That's 38th in Chicago.
Right. And you should have right in front of you stylus like this. And you just color. See that? What I ask you to do is just, for the jurors, draw on the screen where you drove up and where you parked on that day.
Okay, this way, park right here.
And when you parked there, do you recall seeing a vehicle in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what kind of vehicle that was?
Mercedes Benz.
What color it was?
Not bad all.
What style of car or vehicle?
Like a hatchback Mercedes Benz, like a sports truck or something like that.
And when you pulled up there and parked, did you see something that drew your attention?
Not right offhand. Shortly after, yes, when two officers was coming across the street, I noticed them coming and they approached the vehicle in front of me. One officer drew a handgun and opened the door and pointed the gun at whoever was in the driver's seat.
So at that point in time, had you gotten your food already or not yet?
No, sir.
And so you were just sitting in your car and you see these officers pull up?
Yes.
Or walk up, correct?
Right.
And after seeing that, what happened next?
Kind of startled me, you know, from where I'm from.
My thing is, what did he pull the handgun for? You know, was that proper police procedure that if they get a call about somebody trying to pass off a counterfeit bill, they come with guns drawn?
When you see it startled me, you know, when I see the officer raise his gun.
Let me just
started recording.
Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you about. Right? So at some point you started recording.
Right.
So that was because of basically what you saw, correct?
Right.
All right. And so when you were parked there, you started making a recording, correct?
Correct.
At some point you stopped the recording.
Correct.
Why did you stop that recording at that point?
Because I heard more sirens pulling up, and I didn't want to be trapped in between the whole commotion of what's going on. I didn't know exactly what was going on. It's just I didn't want to be in the middle of, you know, a bunch of commotion about what's going on. So I moved across the street.
You moved your car.
Yes.
And prior to coming into court today, did we show you a copy of that video?
Yes, sir.
So that video really accurately represent what you were seeing when you were recording?
Yes, sir.
You marked that as Exhibit 35, Your Honor, offer Exhibit 35 at this time.
35 was received.
Okay, Mr. Duffy, we're going to play that video for you now, and then we'll ask you some questions about it during or after, okay? Now, when you were making that recording, do you recall if your window was down and your...
Yeah.
So So we were able to hear some of it on the video. Were you able to hear it better sitting in person than with the video sheet?
I vaguely heard most of it.
What were you kind of hearing?
I heard him asking him to let me see your hand. He was saying, please, something about been shot or something before, please don't, something like that. And at that time, that's when I heard the sirens pulling up and then pulling him out. And that's when I went to the back of the tail.
Okay. And so I'm going to go back now to Exhibit 1. We'll put that up again. And again, if you would take the stylus and just kind of show the jurors where you went when you moved your vehicle.
Backed up.
So for the record, you're showing that you moved from the Dragon Walk side of 38th to the Kaput side of 38th, correct? And when you got over there, what did you do?
I continued to record.
Well, you started recording again, correct?
Right.
And when you were recording, did you have somebody in the car with you?
Yes, my fiance. She was.
Hey, shout outs to Regional Services for that cash drop. Appreciate you.
In the car, in the cup food, getting the food. So by the time I turned around, she came out and got in the car.
And so during that recording, some conversations between you and her were also recorded.
Yes, sir.
And so did you start recording then at that point?
Yes, sir.
And prior to coming into court, did you also have a chance to review that video?
Yes, sir.
And it appears to be a true and accurate copy of the actual video you made.
Okay.
Now, I will tell you that we have deleted the audio from this video.
Yes, sir.
The conversation that you and your fiancé had, not important as the video.
Right.
Okay. And so we have marked that as Exhibit 36. Offered at this time.
Objection.
All right, so now we'll show Exhibit 36. Next, pause it right here, please. And there's no timestamp on the video, so we will do our best to describe it. Oh, there is a timestamp on the video. It must be approximately 26 seconds. Do you see that? And what you're seeing here, obviously, there are two officers. And the original two officers are in this view, and one of the officers is with the individual sitting on the ground, correct?
Correct.
The individual sitting on the ground, do you recall seeing him from when you were parked behind the Mercedes before?
Correct.
Where was that individual when you were parked behind the vehicle?
He was in the driver's seat.
So that's the same individual that in the prior video had been removed from the driver's seat. And did you see while you were moving the car how those two officers and that individual went from the Mercedes in the prior video to where they are now?
Correct.
How did that happen?
They brought him out, walked him over to the sidewalk, sat him down. One officer then went over to the other people that was in the vehicle and started asking them questions.
And then the other officer had the driver sit on the ground there where we see him now?
Correct.
So then we'll continue to play Exhibit 36.
This is before Chauvin arrived.
So Exhibit 36 has ended, and you stopped filming at that moment?
Yes, sir.
And why did you stop recording that?
Slightly still kind of scared, nervous. That one of the officers kept staring at me like while I was recording. So I kind of put it down, and then I went to record again. But I was like, I really don't want any problems, so I stopped recording.
At that point, did you think that this incident with this individual and the officers was over?
Somewhat I've seen, when I stopped recording, I drove towards the corner as they crossed over with George, the two officers that came to approach him in the first place. They went to walk him across the street. Then when we went to turn to go back home, we seen them placing him in the police car. So that's all I seen, and I kept on driving. I thought he was detained. I thought it was over, so I kept on going home.
You referred to George.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
I felt that George was detained.
Okay. So you used the name George. This individual who was removed from the SUV, the Mercedes, did you know that gentleman?
No, not at all.
Have you subsequent to this learned who that was?
Yes, sir.
Was that George Floyd?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you saw them moving Mr. Floyd after you stopped recording?
Right. Yes, sir.
So I'm going to put Exhibit 1 back up, please. And if you would, again, show the jurors, where you saw them. Well, if you would just put an X on here where you were parked when you made that second video. You know what I mean? Should we try again? Okay. And then if you would, show the jurors where you saw them walking Mr. Floyd after you stopped recording.
And walking him this way.
And so then, at some point, you started up your car and drove off out of the area.
Correct.
And can you show the jurors where you drove when you did that? And so the record should reflect you turned from 38th Street to go what would be southbound on Chicago?
Correct.
And the record should also reflect that you're indicating the officers walking Mr. Floyd from the Dragon Walk corner, what would be northbound on Chicago, correct?
Correct.
Towards the cut food store.
Correct.
Now, when you turned and went south on Chicago, had they already walked Mr. Floyd in front of you over to that, or did you cut in front of them? You know what I mean?
I believe they already crossed. I'm not sure to tell you the truth. I'm not sure if they were before or after.
But at one point you said earlier that you saw them putting him in a squad car.
Right.
Where did you see that taking place?
Over here.
So when you turned to go southbound, is that when you looked
behind us?
And then have anything else to do with that scene that night?
Nope. That's it.
I have no further questions.
Any comments?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was testimony from two men who were on the scene of the George Floyd incident. One was from Christopher Martin, the employee who worked in there. The other, I forgot the guy name who was just testifying. He had pulled up behind George Floyd's vehicle and witnessed the arrest from the beginning. It's the resistance, man. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. It's been another good night. Shout outs to Iraze, Level Eyes to See, Wake Up America, Claus News Now, but nah. Niner Nation. Thanks for coming through, bro. We the people. OG Perfect Sense. Lake Speed.
Hit the lights! Everybody about to get killed out here. Like it for everybody.
It's a very psychological thing that's happening here.